You are listening to episode 7 of the Entrepreneur Happy Hour podcast. Our guest for this episode is Nicole Gates. Grab your favorite beverage and let's talk about business. Welcome to the Entrepreneur Happy Hour podcast. I'm your host, Kimberly Denise. This podcast is for entrepreneurs. Whether you're just getting started or working your business part-time or just looking for some inspiration, each episode you will hear the incredible stories of entrepreneurs from around the world. These entrepreneurs are subject matter experts in their niche. Want to show off your fan status? Make sure you're subscribed to the show so you can be one of the first to listen to my latest episode, which starts right now. Yes. I am sitting here today interviewing a good friend of mine, Nicole Gates. Nicole, thank you so much for being on with us today.
And thank you for having me today, Kimberly. I'm excited. Let's talk about business.
Yes. Well, first, before we get started, if you don't mind just kind of introducing yourself to the audience and telling them a little bit about what you do. And then, of course, at the end of the episode, we'll make sure that people have a way to contact you if they're interested in working with you in the future.
Sounds good. So I like to introduce myself as Nicole Gates, a woman of possibilities, purpose, and power. I am the CEO of Gates and Cork Travel and Tours and the CEO Mindset, where I help female entrepreneurs kind of recreate their brand. So I'm excited to be here talking to you today.
Well, wonderful. Well, of course, today we are talking about personal and professional development, a little more about professional development, because we know that's something that's important for entrepreneurs, and it's kind of a hot topic, if you will, of how you seek professional development as an entrepreneur. So my first question for you, Nicole, is why do you think personal and professional development is important for entrepreneurs and small business owners?
Oh my gosh, it's not just important, it is essential. It is like the lifeline of your business, right? So, you know, when I first started with travel originally, I just wanted to travel because I was like, oh my gosh, I just want to be able to see the world, right? But it was all about me. But then as I got into the business a little bit more, I was like, you know what? I need to learn there's some things I need to learn. Now I have to tap in, dive in, learn some things so I can be able to offer, you know, that to my clients. So I think you are really messing up if you are not developing yourself personally, you know, and professionally. You need to be in a circle or in, you know, like I'm in a mastermind group, for instance. And that mastermind group is strictly for travel agents. And we talk about different things. I learned so much from these ladies. I feel like the kindergarten student, you know, in the mastermind group, because I am learning so much from other people. But I think you have to position yourself and put yourself in a place where you are able to learn and want to learn in order to be the best at what you do. And to, you know, for that passion to kind of show forward, you have to invest that time. It's important. Definitely important.
Definitely. I couldn't agree with you more. So let me ask you this. What have you done in your business to work on your own professional development?
Oh my gosh. You know, I actually set aside time, and I would really encourage any female or any male that's in business, any entrepreneur. If you are in business, days are busy. We don't have enough hours in a day. We just don't. We definitely don't have enough hours in a day. So you have to set aside some time to actually, I set aside time just strictly to read magazines or strictly to read a book or strictly to sit on a, you know, a webinar. So on Mondays, I actually do no business on Mondays. That's my day for my professional and personal development. And, you know, I log into webinars and, you know, I make sure I register for them. So they send me the link, even if I miss it. I can go back and watch it, but I do all that on a Monday. That's the best time for me. So I think it's, you know, important. You got to schedule some time to make that happen.
Oh, definitely. I think that's amazing. You know, in my former life, I was a classroom teacher,
Oh yeah,
and,
been there.
for classroom, to prep
Right.
for the classroom and all of that. I know in education and in other fields, they stress professional development so much, and they will send you to
Yeah.
conferences and
Yeah.
different things like that. So as I go there, kind of transition and ask you, are there any books or other resources that have helped
Hmm.
you that you recommend? I know for me, I encourage people, whatever your field is, try to get plugged in and connected if there are, conferences and things that are going
Right.
on. But, of course, depending on family life and other obligations, I understand that that may not be readily available to
Sure.
everyone. So, are there any books or other resources that you would recommend that you think would be helpful?
I do actually. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna hold it up. It stays on my desk. This is the Bible for me. It has like everything in there. This is a great startup book. I mean, it's a great reference tool, so I keep it close by. You can always refer back to it. It's, the real world approach to entrepreneurship. Because I think as an entrepreneur, there's some business basics that you need. There's some more advanced things that you may need as, time progresses. But I like what you said about conferences, because now we're in such a digital world. You don't actually have to physically be there. A lot of conferences are now doing streaming, so you can pay to stream, and that's a good way. So I definitely suggest conferences, any workshops, anything online that like applies to you. And sometimes you might get in there and it may not, but you never know how God will use that thing. You know what I'm saying? Just store it up and come back to it. I promise you, it won't hurt. It will not hurt. Go to these workshops, tap into some of these webinars, get in a mastermind group. That is the most amazing thing to me ever.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. So I know you talked about it a bit. So I know you spend your Monday,
Hmm.
and that's a day where you don't work, and you kind of devote that time to set aside for your professional development. And just to
Absolutely.
go a little bit deeper, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would
Hmm.
you say setting aside that time has helped you grow in the
Oh my
area
gosh.
of professional development?
It has helped me create a more solid plan for both of my business ventures, right? It actually allows me that time to do the research that I need to do to actually grow. But my business has grown to a level I'm just like, it kind of blew my hair back. But when I started actually making time to do that, I kid you not, it wasn't even 3 months later where I saw this like huge jump, this huge leap in regards to business. I'm really excited about my CEO mindset, because that Monday time actually allowed me to add some elements to it. That's the time when I can meet with my mentor. We sit down and we do brainstorming sessions, and it has really been good for me to be able to develop some things that I wanted to add to what I'm already doing. So yeah.
That sounds good. So, my next question, and you kind of answered it. Do you feel that you are right where you need to be in this area, or do you think there's room for improvement? So, if you had to think about where you are today, in your
Hmm.
business and with your professional development, like what are some goals that you have to
Okay.
grow even more in that area? So I know you've set aside Monday, and that takes a lot of discipline,
Yeah, it does.
and that's encouraging, because being an entrepreneur and being able to set your own schedule, I think it's important that you set your schedule. You don't just wake up and just kind of as things happen, that you actually structure that time. So for you, I guess my question would be, where do you want to go from here? Like, are there any goals you have for this year to grow even more in that area, or to do even more in the area of professional development?
Absolutely. Goals. I say goals all the time. And it's so funny because I really believe in writing down your goals, and it's something about accountability. There's some accountability factor in that. When you write them out, it's like you hold yourself accountable when you can see them, you know what I mean? So I definitely have goals to definitely expand. This year for my travel business, I want to be able to hire staff, because I'm at that point, because I'm like, I cannot do it all by myself. And, last year I was like, I need to do it, but I wasn't quite ready. So, I utilized those Mondays and meeting with my mentor to kind of come up with a plan of how to kind of bring in people to work. Because that's, when you're an entrepreneur, sometimes you think you can do everything. You can't do it all. We want to do it all. We can't do it all. You are definitely not an island. You still need a really good squad, people that can do things. And it might be just a little minimum things that you need done, but we need help. So that's one goal for my travel business. Now for my CEO mindset, I really had to sit back and say, now, where are you going with this? Let's talk about this. And different things just kept coming up. And I kept seeing a cycle of the same thing. And I was like, okay, maybe that's what I'm supposed to be doing with this. Maybe I need to work with these women on, recreating their brand. So we came up with a whole strategy in regards to that. So I'm really excited about rolling that out. It's a new project that I'm working on. And so you'll see it. It'll be ready in give us about a month. We should be ready to fully roll it out. But I'm really, really excited about it because it's going to take things to the next level. So that's my major goal for the CEO mindset. I can't really give all the details, but it's going to be awesome. It is going to be pretty awesome. So stay tuned.
That sounds good. Now, I kind of want to go off script, if you will, just a little bit, because you
Sure.
mentioned about no one being an island and
Oh my
doing it
gosh.
alone. I think so
Yes.
often as women, I know being a mom, and being a solo parent now, for
Yes.
me, it's not that I can't admit that I don't need help, but sometimes instead of trying to tell
Right.
people how I want something done, sometimes it's easier for me to just do it instead of having to, explain and all
Delegate
of
it.
those
Right.
things, delegate, yes.
Right.
But also, too, I think the biggest fear that I had as an entrepreneur came from, so it was a result of me being super excited, super enthused. And when I started,
Right.
unfortunately, I didn't know that I couldn't share my ideas and my dreams and my goals with just anybody.
You cannot. And that's sad, but you cannot, because we have dream killers out there, right? So you have people that will just simply hear what you're saying and take your idea and run with it. I mean, I've seen it all. Nothing surprises me. So yeah, you do have to be careful. So you have to, when I talked about building a squad or really having a team of people behind you that support what you do, you have to be, I think you can tell people what you are trying to do professionally and personally, and where you're trying to develop those areas without really going into full detail. And I think that's, we as women, we just feel like we can share with everybody. We're friendly typically. So we just want to share. I think it's a natural thing, but you do have to be careful. You got to guard your dreams. You do.
Definitely, definitely. I think we have to guard our dreams. I'm glad you said that, like we guard our heart.
Absolutely.
We get excited, and like
Absolutely.
you said, people will take those ideas. One thing that I have learned, experience taught me, is to be careful about sharing things, especially when, maybe I need capital or there's something else that I need in order to push that thing forward. Right.
Absolutely.
So, being careful, and like if somebody else, they have the capital, the means to do it, and all they needed was a good idea, and they
Right.
can, take it
Right.
and run
Exactly.
with it. Now,
Exactly.
one of my mentors told me a long time ago, she was like, honey, whatever God gives you is for you. Somebody else can try to do it, but they haven't been
Absolutely.
given and been equipped to carry it out the way you have.
Right.
She was like, don't worry about people trying to come behind you and say that you're copying them. They'll
Right.
see who's authentic. So I think
Right.
it's
Right.
important to just, be genuine, and that passion that we have,
Let it let it
for
flow.
our
Yeah.
business. Yeah, it'll shine through. Like when you were talking about what's to come with the CEO mindset, the way your face lit up and the
Yeah. I'm
excitement, and you was
so
like,
excited.
you was like,
I
I
want
can't
to
tell
tell
you
it.
yet.
I really want to tell it, but it's like, okay, we'll talk about that off off the podcast. I'm super excited about it because it was just something I just, like I said, it just kept coming up, coming up. And just, sometimes you just got to pay attention to what's going on around you, just listen. And what are people calling you for? What are people leaning on you for, and really kind of, because sometimes I think we work against the grain. We think we have a good idea, and it may be a good idea. It may not be for you to execute, but it might be really a good idea. And sometimes we just have to pay attention to what's actually coming up all the time that you really could be tapping into that we're ignoring. Because I was ignoring this one for quite some time, and I was like, But I will say this, part of it is to help these women who are doing startup businesses, may already be in businesses, maybe stuck, is to really help them understand how to develop and how to build that support system. Because I don't care who you are in business. I don't care how much money you make in business. You cannot do it by yourself. You have to have a good squad behind you, people that support you, people that are sharing with you what you're doing. That is like the best marketing tool that you can have, right? So, just really teaching people how to develop that, because some people really don't know how to develop relationships and how to network and how to do business with other people. So it's a natural skill for me. It's natural for me.
Speaking of doing business with other people, I follow you on Instagram and I follow you on Facebook, and
Absolutely.
we interact and everything. But you posted something one time. Either you posted it, shared it, or commented on it. But I
Okay.
remember a post about when people are basically asking for your expertise and they're wanting to sit down and meet and sending them an invoice.
Oh my gosh, I had a whole now that'll light up my face too. I had a whole conversation because just yesterday, with a really good friend of mine that lives in Atlanta, we had a whole 2-hour conversation on just that. People have to respect your time, and we have to make people respect our time. You can't do people favors. I found that, it's so funny because I just had a recent incident. You probably saw my post on Facebook. I was like, oh my God, you cannot be nice to people. Like in business is business, and we have to respect our business as such, and we got to treat it that way. You can't say, oh, well, Kimberlee is my friend, I'm gonna give her, I'm gonna do this for her, but I'm not gonna do it. Whatever your policies are, whatever your practices are, they need to be the same across the board, because you will get burned. And it's always, never fails to be somebody that is supposed to be a friend or a good colleague or whoever, right? All the time.
Mm-hmm.
There are no thank yous, right? So do business. And when people want to pick your brain, be willing to charge, a fee for that, because it's time, and time is the one commodity we cannot get back. And my time is precious. I set aside a whole Monday. I will take consultations at that time. I will do appointments with people on a Monday. However, people will, I'm gonna try to say this in a nice way. I always use a term because I was like, that's very graphic, and I think people get it. People will rape you when it comes to your time. Is that graphic enough? People will,
Yeah.
they will rape your time. So we can't allow that. We cannot allow that. And if the information that I have is important to you, then you'll pay that fee. And it could be $10. I don't care what your fee is, but you owe it to yourself. Because guess what? When they walk away, you've given them some very valuable information that they can now run with. And so on and so forth. They would have to pay. So why not pay you, right? Pay yourself.
Right.
Got to
Well, I
create some
know
cash flow.
you got to. Well, and see, here's the thing that I don't think people understand when we're doing. So the work that you and I do, I think we would fall in the category of consultants,
Absolutely.
freelancers, however you would kind of
Absolutely.
put that. And so we
Yes.
work based off, invoices. We may have products from time to time, that people can pay for, but it's mainly service driven
Right.
for us, a lot of
Absolutely.
what we're doing. And the time it takes me to prepare for you the materials, right? And I saw a post recently too that says, I've spent years developing myself, getting my education, getting my certifications. Although it may take me 30 minutes to work with you, you're not paying me for the 30 minutes. You're paying me for the years.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And and it's
Right.
valuable. All the
It
time you set
is.
aside to develop yourself, to be better, to get certifications, and just all of these, so that you've got those qualifications. If people are wanting to
Right.
research and decide whether or not they want to work with you, you're credentialed, you have that. And I don't think people understand how valuable that is, right?
Right. Exactly. And one other thing that I probably would add to that, um, that I think when you charge people a consultation fee or whatever, I think people have to understand that, like, we're in business. This is not a hobby. And it's up to us to kind of relay that message, right? If I'm doing all of this stuff, like you said, to educate myself, it costs me money. My lights cost me money. If I'm on the phone, I'm paying a cell phone bill or whatever. You know what I mean? So it does cost us something. And at the end of the day, we're not here to just give our services away. Then we wouldn't have a business. And we have to be okay with that. We got to be comfortable with doing business.
Exactly, exactly. I think you hit the nail on the head. We've got to be comfortable with doing business. I know one thing that has been happening for me recently, and I know you've experienced this too. Once I got comfortable and confident in the services that I can provide, I'm not afraid to talk to people and ask them for their business. And it's not like
Right.
I'm begging,
Right.
like I'm seeking, like, oh, I need to pay this month. No,
Right.
it's just I was at the Crosstown Concourse this morning. I work out on Friday mornings. In
Mm-hmm.
particular, there's a class that I go to, and then I sit and kind of have some time, have some coffee, and it's a really good place to kind of bump into people because a lot of
Right.
people are in that building, and I bump
Right.
into a lot of
Absolutely.
people, and they'll be like, "Well, what are you doing now? What are you working on?" And I just say very matter of factly, "Oh, I'm doing this," and they'll be like, "Oh, well, I need to call you. We may want to use you." And it's just like, but if I were to before I was confident. If I were to reach out and all of that, I don't know. I wouldn't get any callbacks. I wouldn't get any interest, and
Right.
the interest now that's there. But I think you have to be confident in what you're doing, in order
Absolutely.
to be able to share, with people what you're doing, and then just kind of go from there.
And I think that comes from our professional and our personal development as well. That's a part of that process. There's some classes that I've taken, some webinars that I have done that really have taught me to simply do business, put aside family and friends, because that's typically not who's going to be supporting you in business anyway, sad to say. But we have, just to be okay with it and just be cool about doing business. I mean, that is truly the bottom line, but that's something you will learn and you will develop, as you look to grow your business. That's something that you should be looking at. Which one of my policies do I need to tweak? Do I need to start charging a fee? My friend I talked to yesterday, she was saying, Nicole, like, I just started doing it because my husband said, like, you are wasting so much time. And me as a travel agent, and she's a travel agent as well, people don't understand when they call you and say, hey, do you got and the funniest thing, this is the funniest statement. Do you have any deals on? Deals on. And so when I get a question like that, typically I know this person is looking to pay like the minimum, the bare minimum. So, there's a series of questions that I'll ask before I do anything. And then I ask for their email address and I send them my consultation form. You have to pay that before I do anything, because the research and details that go into booking travel is, man, her husband told her she had to stop just doing that stuff for free. And it's so funny. She said she was only charging $25. I was like, what? No, now you might want to rethink that. She was like, I know. And she's like, then I would do the research, and, I send it to them and then they go book it on their own. I said, you're giving too much details. You know what I mean? Like, you just have to kind of figure out what works for your particular business, but definitely never shy away from charging a fee. You got to be cool with
Exactly.
it.
I think you have to think about what your hourly rate is,
Right.
and make sure, to build that in. I've done a lot of my own professional development, and I'm looking to help other people think about what they should be charging, but not only for like one-on-one,
Mm-hmm.
and hourly, but if we're going to be doing a series of things, I'm thinking about my time that it takes me to prepare, my time that it takes me to review, reflect, debrief,
Right.
because that's the type of person I am. I'm professional. I'm not just picking up your information and running in to facilitate something, right for you for this amount of time. No, I want to make sure that I'm effective, I'm helping you, I'm prepared, and that preparation,
Right.
you got the beforehand getting ready, but then afterwards kind of debriefing and thinking about, maybe what you could change. And the next time that there's always a learning experience, right? Well, the next time I do this, maybe I should do it this way, right?
Right.
So just, thinking about that, not just your hourly rate, but if you were to do some type of package for people, like what is your rate then? How much time does it take you? I think about how much time it takes away from my family. How much time is it taking
Right.
away from my
I
family?
was
And
waiting
is
for
it
you to
worth
say
it?
that. Yeah.
Is
Because
it
it does.
worth it? Because
Absolutely.
I got to take care of my family. I'm not
Hmm.
driven by money, but I need money to keep the lights on. I need money
That's
to
right.
keep gas in my
Right.
car. I need
Right.
money to
Absolutely.
keep the car so that I can get, to and fro to all of these things. So, of course, I don't lead with the money. That's not the front thing on my mind. The front thing is me helping people, me adding value to people. But at the same time,
Right.
and me helping people, I cannot discount the fact of what I'm worth.
Yeah. And the reality is, again, we're in business. It's not a hobby. And I think entrepreneurs have a really hard task because people, especially if you work from home, I have so many people to call, oh, they want to interrupt your day. And I'm like, I have to call you back because like I'm working. But you're at home. I am working. I don't have time to be, talking to you on the phone and lollygagging. I'm doing work, right? So, it's just it seems like we always have to defend the fact that we're in business, and that we are legit in our business and we want to do things in a professional manner. And, these are our rules and regulations and our procedures, and you all need to adhere to that and respect it. So yeah, we got a tough job. We gotta tell you, professional development definitely helps. There's so many classes out there to get you to toughen up and be able to handle business, right? So I definitely encourage it.
Oh, definitely. Well, before we end our time today, I want to make sure to give you enough time to share a little bit more about your business and
Okay.
how people can get in touch with you.
Absolutely.
Just make sure that you give, if you have a website, and your social media
Okay.
handles as well. And I'll make sure to include those in the show notes.
Okay, well, sounds good. So I am definitely on Instagram and Facebook. Gates Uncorked Travel and Tours, or you can just go to my personal page, Nicole Gates. Nicole CEO Gates, correction. Because they'll be looking for Nicole Gates, like, where is she? On Instagram, I have Gates Uncorked on Instagram and Gates Uncorked Travel on Instagram, as well as the CEO Mindset on Instagram and Facebook. Websites are in the works. We are revamping the website because there's so much cool stuff coming down the pipe. So both of them are actually under construction. We should have those up soon, but I will make sure. My website for my travel business, though, is Gates on Court Travel and Tours.com. So right now it's, like I said, under construction, but it'll be up soon and we'll be able to roll out this cool stuff that's coming down the pipes. I'm so excited. Super
I'm ex-
excited.
I'm excited for you as well. And I think I was following your CEO mindset on Instagram, but I just followed Gates Uncorked and I just followed Gates Uncorked Travel because I want to definitely be in the know with all that you got
Okay.
going on. Guys,
Yes.
she is definitely good people. She is definitely a woman on the move.
Thank
She
you.
has a CEO mindset for real, y'all. And she's so professional yet firm, but can be gentle as well. Really
Absolutely.
good person to know and do business with. So I encourage you.
If you're looking for the type of services that she offers, definitely connect with her. You will not be disappointed. Nicole, quick
Yes.
question. Do people have
Yes,
to
ma'am.
be in Memphis to work with you
No,
and utilize your services?
they do not. They don't have to be in Memphis. They can reach out to me, by phone, 901-347-7854. They can reach out to me by email, the CEO mindset at gmail.com, or they can hit me on Instagram, Facebook, Messenger, or whatever, IG, whatever, however they want to get in touch with me, get in touch with me. I am actually doing some work for some folks in New York. So I have people all over, that I'm helping recreate their brands. So they have brand identity. So I'm super excited. I just gave y'all a few hints there, but super excited. So much stuff coming down the pipes, but you will definitely be in the loop. I will definitely keep you in touch with what we have going on.
Oh, definitely. Well, Nicole, we just want to thank you so much for being on today, and being our special guest. And we
Thanks for
wish
having
you,
me.
yes, we wish you nothing but the best for your business and your future endeavors. And we look forward to seeing what is to come with you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Super excited. Thanks for having me, Kimberlee.
And that's it for this episode of the Entrepreneur Happy Hour podcast. If you haven't already rated and reviewed my show, leave your feedback. Do that today. Whether you're listening on iTunes, Google Play, or Spotify, your review shows off your fan status and helps other future listeners find this podcast. I love hearing from my listeners, and I would love to hear from you. Send me a note at hello@theentrepreneur.happyhour.com. Until next episode, I'll see you over on the Entrepreneur Happy Hour Facebook community.